All right, let's get this show started!
We've got an interesting financial update regarding the UFC in 2025. According to newly released results from TKO Group Holdings, the UFC generated $1.502 billion in revenue, marking a 7% year-over-year increase, roughly $96 million in growth. Even more impressive, the promotion reportedly operated with a massive 57% profit margin, highlighting just how profitable the MMA powerhouse remains. However, for the first time since TKO was formed, the UFC was outperformed by WWE in both total revenue and raw profitability. WWE had a breakout year, posting $1.709 billion in revenue, a 22% increase year over year. The gap is widely attributed to WWE's major media rights partnership with Netflix, which significantly boosted its revenue and overall profitability. Despite a slight overall dip in TKO's total revenue, largely due to a decline at IMG following the Paris Olympic cycle, both UFC and WWE delivered strong operational performances. Quick heads up guys, if you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the hype button to help us reach more viewers. Now back to the news. Terence Crawford believes he has a solution to the backlash from several UFC athletes who voiced frustration over earning significantly less than a relatively lesser-known boxer. Speaking during a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford shared his perspective. He argued that UFC fighters actually hold more power than they realize, but only if they're willing to stand together. According to Crawford, unity is the key. If fighters truly want higher pay, they would need to come together and push collectively for change.
These combat sports, it gotta come from the fighters. You know, just like boxing, I think if the fighters come together, they can make anything happen. The fighters don't understand the level of power that they carry because they think, oh, since they cutting a check, they got the power.
Right.
You know, but they can't cut the check without us. You know, but it's the fighters that need the money that makes it hard.
Right.
Because the fighters that already got the money, they can make a stand for something. But the fighters that doesn't, they like, well, you can do that. I gotta provide for my family. You can take a chance of going at the organization for a year or however long it's gonna last, but who gonna pay my bills?
Right.
Who gonna put food on my family table while we doing this, while we making a stand? So it's a little tougher for them to make that stand than a person that's already established.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's where, you know, the seesaw effect happens with boxing and UFC.
Conor Benn might be making the most money he's ever earned during his boxing career, but his bill isn't being paid by the UFC owners at TKO Group Holdings. On Wednesday, during a quarterly financial call, TKO Group Holdings President and Chief Operating Officer Mark Shapiro responded to criticisms that many UFC fighters have voiced after Benn reportedly signed a one-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing for $15 million. The signing was widely publicized after Benn left his former promoter, Eddie Hearn, and Matchroom Boxing to sign with Zuffa Boxing, which is led by UFC CEO Dana White and WWE President Nick Khan. While he wouldn't confirm the $15 million price tag that Benn is reportedly earning, Shapiro was quick to point out that TKO is incurring none of the cost to sign him, but instead that falls on Zuffa Boxing's financial backer Sella, the Saudi Arabia-led entertainment company headed up by Turki Al-Sheikh. Shapiro said, "I would add that the reported purse, which I believe was around $15 million, but the reported purse, I'm not confirming or denying, that Conor will be paid for the super fight in 2026, is not TKO going out of pocket. Sella, led by our great partner Turki Al-Sheikh, is covering the purse. Once again, no different than exactly what he did with the Canelo Crawford fight." GFL is officially back. Global Fight League just announced on Instagram that they were rebuilding the foundation of the startup promotion. They announced the creation of their Athlete Performance and Wellness Council, formed of well-known names in the MMA world featuring Tyron Woodley, Mike Goldberg, Hector Lombard, Benson Henderson, Kat Zingano, and a few others. The post reads, "We've been in building mode. Over the past few months, we've been laying a new foundation for the Global Fight League, starting with people. An Athlete Performance and Wellness Council made up of fighters, wellness experts, and trusted MMA advocates who've lived the sport at the highest level. A leadership team focused on doing this the right way with athletes and fans at the center. This is the foundation. More to come." It's finally here, the footage everyone's been waiting for. Ronda Rousey has just dropped new training clip of herself working the pads, showing off sharp boxing combinations and impressive head movement.
Head movement! 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 Yes, move! Head movement, good job! Head movement! Head movement! Head movement, good job! Move, move! Move, please! 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 Go! Go! Head movement! Head movement!
Max Holloway believes influencer Dean the Great is biting off more than he can chew when calling out top UFC stars. Holloway is weeks away from returning to the octagon to defend his BMF title against Charles Oliveira at UFC 326. As Holloway prepares to return to the cage, he is one of several UFC stars to be called out by Dean the Great, whose real name is Nuruddin Shabazz. Shabazz was at the center of a viral clip when he was assaulted by former UFC fighter Tiki Gazn at a house party earlier this month. Dean recently called for UFC CEO Dana White to send his fighters to compete against him in a boxing match. He promised wins over the likes of Sean O'Malley, Ilia Topuria, and Holloway himself. During a recent livestream on Kick, Holloway responded to the call-out, labeling the idea crazy and questioning why Dean would even want that matchup.
I didn't see him call me out, but I saw him talking to Sean O'Malley and calling out, what's his name? Ilia. I didn't see him call me out, but I think he has his weight classes confused. Like, I think he doesn't know that lightweight in boxing is different than lightweight in the UFC. Because he's lightweight in boxing is like 135, I believe, and lightweight in the UFC is of course 155. So I don't think he knows that. I don't know why. If he did call me out, that's kind of crazy. Why the hell would he want to fight me for? Did he say why he called me out? Is there a reason?
The UFC is gearing up for a special event at the White House after President Donald Trump personally asked Dana White to bring an MMA card to Washington, D.C., and while plenty of fighters are eager to be part of such a high-profile showcase, Brandon Moreno isn't one of them. In fact, he wants nothing to do with it. During UFC Media Day in Mexico City, the Assassin Baby was asked whether he'd like to join the historic card. Moreno didn't hesitate, and he didn't sugarcoat it. With a visibly annoyed expression, he shut the door on the idea.
Se habla, o sea, ahorita hablando mucho, ¿no?, sobre la función en Casablanca. En este caso, digo, hay tiempo quizás suficiente, ¿no?, dependiendo de cómo salgas de este sábado. ¿Te gustaría también tú alzarías la mano, quizá para poder pelear en Casablanca? ¿Y crees que esa función quizá también necesitaría un talento de México?
Hermano, quiero que tú me contestes por qué yo quisiera pelear ahí.
Pues es muy emotiva, ¿no?, quizá esa función.
¿Para quién?
Para la empresa.
¿Para ti?
Para la empresa.
No estoy tan interesado. Muchas gracias.
Doesn't agree with that assessment. In an interview with MMAJunkie.com, Bohalio, who will meet de Ridder in the co-main event of UFC 326 on March 7th, said he anticipates a stern test. He said, "I'm expecting the best Reinier de Ridder that the world has ever seen. He took the time off that he needed to, but besides that, he's coming to prove something to the world, and something to him, that he's not a quitter, and these kind of things have a lot of power inside. So I think he'll come very good for this fight, very well prepared, and that's what I need. That's what I want, to beat the best guys in their best versions. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think he's going to come in the best shape of his life, the best Reinier de Ridder people ever saw, and this win even bigger and better." Bohalio is looking to bounce back after falling short in his September 2025 bout against Nasruddin Imavov at UFC Paris. Bohalio had gone 14-0, won no contest in his last 15 bouts before the loss to Imavov. A win would have put Bohalio in title contention, but his hope is to prove that he's still in the mix. Daniel Cormier believes Khamzat Chimaev may have a tough time making the 185-pound limit again, especially if a fight with Nasruddin Imavov is next. The middleweight division is still waiting on clarity regarding Chimaev's return. But DC raised an interesting point after seeing recent training footage of Khamzat working alongside Khalil Roundtree Jr. and Luke Rockhold. According to Cormier, Chimaev looked enormous, even standing next to natural light heavyweights. Speaking on his YouTube channel, DC suggested that another brutal cut to 185 could put unnecessary strain on Chimaev's body. Instead, he proposed a move up to 205 pounds, where Khamzat could compete without draining himself and potentially unlock an even better version of his game. Cormier's take gains even more traction after a new photo of Chimaev surfaced online, showing him looking bigger than ever.
He's earned his chance to fight for that belt. Now imagine that Khamzat is here in the United States preparing for that fight with Imavov. That would be my guess if I am thinking about what's next. But the reality is, one, how difficult is it going to be for him to get back down to 185? Because I'm telling you, he looks massive next to Roundtree. Two, how will he compete when he's back down there? And three, how does Imavov deal with the size of Khamzat Chimaev at this point? Because while Imavov was a 185 pounder, Khamzat was at 170, Chimaev looks like the bigger guy. He looks like the much bigger fighter. Now, I'm telling you, you guys have to watch that training footage. He looks like a monster at over 200 pounds. Khamzat Chimaev also has the Sean Strickland issue to deal with at 185. These guys cannot stand each other. Look, guys, when you are two athletes of the highest caliber and you have trained together and you have fought in sparring, one of those guys knows, or someone knows exactly what happened. But as most say, what happens in the gym stays in the gym.
Speaking on their Pound for Pound podcast, both former champions argue that Chimaev's size and frame are better suited for the 205-pound division. They suggested that a move to light heavyweight would not only benefit Khamzat physically, but also inject fresh excitement into the division.
I can see Khamzat Chimaev becoming a 2-division champ. I really do. Stylistically, bro, he's big. He
big
can
enough,
wrestle,
and he's stout,
he can strike.
Can you imagine a light heavyweight wrestling like that? The champion has called for Pereira how many times now?
How can you do that without defending? The only one
but
that,
he
the only one that was able to do that was Conor McGregor.
Maybe that weight cut, he doesn't want to make that weight cut anymore.
I agree with you. He's big, bro. I think the light heavyweight division would be a better division for him. I feel like 185 pounds is a little more stacked.
I agree. A mix-up with him in there would make that division a lot more exciting.
We've got one of the most unexpected feuds in MMA right now. Following Anthony Hernandez's loss to Sean Strickland this past weekend, Michael Bisping suggested Hernandez should drop down to welterweight as he doesn't think Fluffy looks like a true middleweight based on his physique.
Fluffy could probably make welterweight. That's my honest opinion. He could probably make welterweight because he's not the most hard-bodied. He's maybe a little soft-bodied, and I think maybe that's hence the nickname Fluffy, right? And he needs to maybe work on that because he could be a champion, certainly in the welterweight division, certainly at middleweight because the man was on a ridiculous 8-5 winning streak.
Hernandez's wife didn't take the remark lightly. She fired back at Bisping, writing, "Y'all gotta stop speaking for him like you know him. Whoever's saying he needs to drop to 170 can shut your mouth cause y'all clearly do not personally know him. First time losing in 6 years, guys. Come on now." Followed up with, "Not what I think, it's a fact that we know based on him being tested by the UFC doctors already. He physically cannot. Like I said, his first time losing in 6 years and everyone thinks he should just stop fighting at 185. People can have off nights." Here are the top 3 memes found on the internet. Number 3 meme was posted by Scrapadilly. Number 2 meme was posted by Hilarious MMA. And number 1 meme was posted by Midwinter Path. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of MMA. Catch you tomorrow.